Hey folks, I've been doing this for a year now. We've done around 50 episodes. It's been an incredible journey. It's been so much fun. So this episode, my team got together and pulled random clips from different episodes, and we just sit down and talk about it, kind of reminisce on this amazing journey, and we talk about some fantastic episodes, some fantastic guests. We also embed a little gift for you here. So there's an Easter egg in there that will provide you a code for some very steep discounts with tanbooks.com. And then lastly, towards the end, if you hang in there and watch the end, we're going to talk about some upcoming episodes that haven't been released yet but have been recorded. It's just a great, fun episode that I enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy it too. God bless you, and thank you for all of your support. Please share the channel with your friends and family. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notification, or whatever you need to do to support it. And this mission will continue on. Thanks. "50 episodes. That's what we're here to talk about, I guess.
Do you think you're going to make it to 50?
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of me thought I would give up after a while because I lose interest in everything.
Really?
Kind of ADD. Yeah, I thought we'd give this a year and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's been more successful than I thought, so that's kind of good.
So this is not a sign-off episode where we're never doing any more again?
No, I think we'll keep going.
And we'll see if we can change that.
Right, we're gonna ruin that right
Let's
now.
ask that again after.
We're gonna ruin that right now.
What was your over-under?
Yeah,
What number did you have? 12? 12 and a half?
I tell you what.
No, I thought we would do it for this long for sure. But
months, over and under on the months. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would I don't know. But it's weird that I've produced 1,000+ books in 17 years at TAN.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've produced 50 episodes on this.
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback is like 10 times, on the podcast as to the books. It's ridiculous.
It's the world we live in, man.
It's the world we live in. So you kind of, anywhere you go, you sort of get accosted a little bit about, oh, you have that podcast. And I want to say, yeah, but I made 1,000 books. I mean, but it doesn't, that's not the way it works. So you have to just say, yeah, thanks.
Anybody listening to this who hasn't read 10 books yet, go read 10 books.
Yeah.
They're more important than this podcast.
It's way more important than the podcast. So what are we doing here? Because I didn't have to prepare. This is
we
kind
got
of
clips.
Cool. I love the idea of having a show where I have to do absolutely no preparation. That's really awesome.
Connor and I are going to be surprised by clips selected by the team of highlights from the 50 episodes. Almost 50, because there's a few that haven't been released yet. So,
right. But this will be released as the 50. We have a few.
Let's not pigeonhole ourselves. Come on, it's a podcast world.
Right. That's right.
But you're in the publisher world again.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Somewhere around there.
We'll release it when we feel like releasing
right.
it. Yeah.
50-ish
celebrating
anniversary.
50 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun listening to some of these. It's weird to put them in boxes too. It's like they're obviously funny moments in those. They're obviously like deep. I mean, how many of your guests would you say you've handed tissues? Like at least a handful, right? Maybe 10.
Yeah,
probably 10.
And then there's like, almost like the spiritual warfare is almost like in its own category multiple times. I think Dan Schneider has the most appearances in the 50. I think 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So the spectrum is all over the place. Then we have Ashley, your wife, and then your kids are in some of the episodes too. So it was cool to go back and edit some of these together. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think about them and what comes to mind.
I'm interested to see whether I can remember any of these.
Right, there's that too.
It's hard to store it all in there.
Yeah, it is strange. Like I've gone back and listened to some, I've only listened to like all the way through 1 or 2, and that's when I was with my wife in the car or something and she wanted to listen to it, Right. So most of these I've never gone back and listened to ever, and not any amount of time. I mean, and the shorts will pop up in my own feed. So I'm like, oh, that's a cool short. And I watch, I'm like, huh. And I was like, Connor, why'd you say that? And I'm like, Tim, why'd you put that short there? I look like an idiot. So, Kevin's been the producer behind the scenes. Tim has been, you've done a lot of different things. You've worked with the guest, you co-host, co-editor, and one of the main things you do, among many other things at TAN and Welder Family, is you make the shorts a lot of the shorts.
Yeah.
And then Nicholas is still behind the scenes.
One man
there.
Producing a machine.
Tim also helps take care of the guests when they're coming
Yeah.
to town.
So
That's
yeah,
a
it's
big
like
deal.
and so you're doing that. Mary, who as of I can say this right, the day of recording this,
Oh yeah.
she's like 5 or 6 days overdue. So any moment I'm waiting to get the call.
Let's hope that the baby will have been born by
Yeah.
the time this comes out.
It needs to be born by then. Yeah.
That would be pretty good.
But she's done an amazing work on, contacting the guests, setting up the itineraries, working with the team on my calendar, and then also one of the other main things that Tim does is like helps me prepare sometimes. I'm like, hey, I need some research done on this guest or his books or whatever.
That's the fun part.
And I try to really do my homework, but there's been some times where I didn't, or I'm like walking in here, I'm like, I read 3 of the guy's books, and I'm like, I don't have his bio. Like, where's his bio? And so you crank out a bio, so I know, oh, he graduated from this, and he lives here. So there's all these little details. So we're going to get into have some fun, I guess, now. And by the way, the clips you've picked, or the team picked, Nicholas and Mary picked, and you've reviewed a little bit. Kevin and I have not seen, so this is going to be a surprise to us. But I am grateful to everybody who's helped this be a pretty successful first year.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's a good.
I'm curious to see with you as the host, since you have to prepare for the conversations in a way I don't have to, obviously. And I'm just here. We release an episode every week. Sometimes we're filming multiple per week. Like, I'm curious how many like real takeaway points you're able to remember for the long term from each of these interview discussions that you've had.
It's going to be,
for me, it's only a couple things per episode, probably. Even though we're here for a couple hours, usually.
Yeah, one of the best things about this whole thing is like I've really made some friendships like with the guests. I have a lot more numbers in my cell phone, and to be able to stay in touch with some of these people through texting or whatever, and you can just tell sometimes, like, after you usually have dinner, like usually we invite the people in, they fly in, either they Uber to the airport or the hotel, or somebody takes them, and then I usually meet them for dinner. Sometimes my wife goes with me, and so you have dinner with somebody. We try to do that, or we have breakfast or lunch with them before or after filming. And so, especially when I get to go to dinner with people, you kind of develop a friendship. There's a number of examples there that come to mind. I'm hesitant to say those because it sounds like you're leaving out other people, but getting to meet amazing human beings and talk to them at dinner or breakfast, lunch, and then sitting here for 2 to 3 hours with them, and then you stay in touch. Like, for me, it's almost like the podcast like keeps going because I have more relationships with them. It's been
Definitely
awesome. So if we're able to keep it going, I want to keep it going. It sure help if people would hit subscribe. That would help it keep going.
Don't forget
hit subscribe.
bell.
Yeah, hit the bell.
The bell. Say all notifications.
So that would be, and it is kind of, I don't know if it's depressing or if it's kind of cool that like 80 to 90% of the people that view this stuff don't ever subscribe. And we got a lot of subscribers, but
unfortunately we've learned it's normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
That's most channels, but our stats should be better. Help us out, guys.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of the viewers, let's not forget the coupon special that we got going for 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So to celebrate kind of this 50th episode, or roughly a year of doing this, I think, what did we say, Nicholas? We're going to do the coupon code
CGS50.
CGS50. That's the Conor Gallagher Show 50. CGS50. And what kind of discounts that giving you on tan?
50% off your order on
50%. 50-50. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
You guys are pros.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Limited time only.
Limited time only.
Won't
So
last
you
forever.
better, I don't know how long that will last. Yeah.
Marketing team will decide how long that lasts.
Yes. It will be limited because I can't give all these books away for free.
No, as much as you'd like to.
We need to make money there so we can keep doing this.
Yes, that's true.
You guys got a bet on who the first clip is with? I gotta hear a prediction.
I'll guess. I would bet that you're gonna pick like one of my kids because that's kind of funny. That's my guess.
That would make sense. I don't know. Yeah.
You got to throw
Bill
something up
Thierfelder. Something funny with Bill Thierfelder, because you laughed
There
a lot on that episode.
There was some funny stuff with Bill Thierfelder.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it. Oh gosh, I hate seeing
was
myself.
that?
Viewed episode.
Most viewed episode first.
Your use of the deposit of faith. That kind of made some headlines, or at least spread through social media. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I was directly told to quit talking about it.
quit talking about the deposit of faith. It's like, quit doing my job. Guarding the deposit of faith is being obedient to God.
How did they tell you to stop talking about the deposit of faith? It just betrays the fact that they are pushing something that they fear is outside the deposit of faith.
Yeah.
Why else would you be instructed to stop talking about the deposit of faith? This is a staggering, mind-blowing thing for Catholics to process, that a bishop of the Catholic Church is told to stop talking about the deposit of faith.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
All right, so what comes to mind about that? It's the trip. It's the
What
trip.
comes to mind for
Oh,
me?
I know, yeah.
Tim sitting on a tarmac for 8 hours or something.
Backstory.
gosh.
All
my gosh.
right, we should talk about the clip, but for
Oh my
those
gosh.
who don't know, I was there behind the camera for that trip.
There, where? Where was that shot?
Right. So
Yeah,
we
set
it up.
fly to Texas.
Tyler, Texas.
So I guess we fly into Dallas,
We
Fort Worth.
flew to Dallas and then had a little hopper to Tyler.
And this little podunk airport, and we have all the filming equipment to film him, because I didn't want to have to try to like make a bishop come to us. So on the plane, I look over, sitting across the aisle from each other, and I look over at Kevin, and like the whole plane ride, he's like,
I was like, my eyes were closed all the
and
time.
I'm like,
I was oh, God.
he's sleeping. I was like, he's kind of really sleeping.
like this.
Yeah, and then he goes down, and it's just like, what's he doing? You know?
Very deep prayer. And
Yeah,
the
right.
prayer was,
And I,
please don't puke, please don't puke, please don't puke, please don't
and
puke.
then I find out, like, he was not sleeping or doing it. He was sick, and so then I'm like, okay, we got to get our rental car. No, we didn't get a rental car yet. We got a taxi, loading up all of our stuff in an Uber, and so I call the bishop. And I say, hey, I think my brother Kevin's not feeling good. He's going to go to the hotel.
Understatement of my life.
Yeah.
That's the most sick I've ever been in my life.
And so then I go and have dinner with the bishop, which was great. And then the next morning, I'm like, man, I sure hope Kevin's going to be feeling better. And he's not. He is just...
Real quick, before that, I'm not kidding. Before you had to come back and figure out if I was alive at the hotel, I'm not kidding. It took me probably 25 minutes to push the baggage cart from the elevator to the room. That's how out of it I was.
Wow.
I was so it was heavy, but also I had no energy. It took me forever to get down there. Then I promptly passed out on the bed, and the hotel wouldn't let you in.
And you would not. I'm banging on the door, and he's not answering. I'm like, is he dead in there? And
Close,
so
close.
because he's checked in, and I go down to I call Kevin's phone. He's not answering. I'm banging on the door, but it's kind of late. I don't want to wake up everybody else, but I'm banging on the door. And I go down to the front desk. I'm like, you got to let me in. And they're like, we can't, because he checked in. So you're not like checked in. You don't have a key. I'm like, he's my brother. It's like he's dead in there. You got to let me in.
Non-responsive.
So they're like, okay, the humanity kicks in, and they let me in. And I go in there. I'm like, Kevin. He's
No,
like,
they didn't let you in, man.
Oh, they still didn't?
Eventually, you banged on the door hard enough that
That's
I
what
woke
it
up.
was. They would not. Okay, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
They would not let me in. I could bang on the door harder, afraid to wake up other people. And he comes out. I said, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. And I find out that he's like sick as a dog.
Yeah.
And so the next morning,
Well, that night we're already like trying to get Tim.
yes,
No, because we had to delay. We had to delay 24 hours. Bishop Strickland was really gracious.
In the
to do that
morning,
with us.
I called Bishop Strickland. And I'm like, I can't run the cameras by myself. I don't even know how to do this. And Kevin
brother's
is
dead.
he's just dead. So we're gonna have to delay. And he was very gracious. So I went and had lunch with him and spent time with him. It was awesome. So dinner and then lunch. I got to know Bishop Strickland really, really well. And then Kevin's not getting better quick enough. So we call you and we're like, you need to fly to Texas, like now. Like leave the office and go get on a plane.
Huh?
Teresa was really happy at that.
Call my wife. I'm like, I'm flying to Texas today.
Like today, like after the kids go to bed? No, like in 20 minutes.
So you
Exactly.
tried.
Yep. Went to the airport, hopped on the plane. They said it's going to be a few minutes. They said it's going to be a few minutes more. And they say, you got to get off the plane.
Yeah.
There's some bad wind in Dallas. And then it was going to be until, I wasn't going to get there until,
Like 1 or 2 in the morning.
yeah, in Dallas, and then have to drive over to Tyler, which I get there like 3 in the morning. And that I talked to you like 10 at night,
Yeah.
I think, before the plane was supposed to take off. And you're like, I think he's going to be all right. You must have had some ginger ale at that point or something.
We start looking for like local film
Right.
crews. Couldn't find anything 'cause it's such a small town.
Right.
No one there knows how to
in my few
do anything like this.
My few moments of lucidity, I was trying to Google.
It was awful. This was awful.
I think air traffic control was just checking on my recovery and just delaying the flight, just in case you had a chance to get off, before flying to Texas.
So it was just insanity, and then so day 2 now, or 3, however you want to count it. So then we finally go to the bishop's house, and Kevin's feeling better. When the striking thing to me, a couple things, is we pull up, and it's this very small, modest house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, that's the most modest bishop's house I've ever seen. And then I realized, wait a minute, the GPS is doing something funky. And it was not that house. That was not his house. He lived in the shed behind the house.
The smaller, The small thing hidden behind the small thing.
He lived in a shed behind the house. They converted like a garage thing sort of into his one-room apartment. And so we go in there, and here's this,
it was very nice.
Bishop,
but modest,
It's one room, not much. I mean, a couple sizes of this studio, couple. That's it, And then his little bedroom and bathroom was in the back, and he had this little chapel, and he just like sits there and prays in adoration like all day.
Yeah.
And so it was remarkable how modest it was, and you got a sense this guy like lives as a hermit now.
Yeah.
And then the episode was great, and it got a lot of views right out of the gate.
Well, you set up right in his kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Because that was
the
pretty
only
much it.
That's that was the house. It was, So a fantastic man. I consider him a friend now.
And you guys talked for like
amazing.
3.5 hours or something, right? On camera.
He took. We had a few breaks somewhere along the way, and every break that we had, he took the opportunity to get back into adoration again.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we're gonna look
Incredible,
at the cameras or whatever, and he's like, okay, I'll go pray. Let me know you're. That's just
incredible, man. And it wasn't rude. It was totally. He knew we needed to be focused on getting equipment dealt with and things.
I love that guy, Bishop Strickland.
Amazing.
Yeah, were you surprised at his frankness, honesty? Like, I was surprised at his clarity and strength of message.
You know what it makes me think of? Yes, and I think what makes me think of is people that don't have an agenda, who are just honest and charitable at the same time. Their stress level must plummet because they're not calculating, they're not trying to maneuver, they're not trying to finesse. They're just saying what they think is the truth in a charitable way. He just strikes me as a man that has very low stress. I bet he has very good blood pressure, So I'm impressed with that.
What I left
we overcomplicate everything with these church politics, and he stood up recently and he said at the local bishops meeting or the USCCB, and he once again stood up there, only guy, and he said, "Hey, Father James Martin is confirming a man with that man's gay lover or his husband, spouse, legal spouse, as his sponsor. This is not okay. This is public scandal. I think we need to discuss this." It's crickets, moving on. They just ignore it. They act like he's not even there. Well, you know what? They did the same thing to John Fisher when Henry VIII was doing his thing. So, I mean, this is normal. When the church is in a dark spot, history always shows that it's a very, very small minority of bishops that really stand up for the truth. I mean, look, St. Nicholas, we're coming up on Christmas. St. Nicholas, I guess this will release in January, but he was one of the only bishops that was willing to stand up to Arius, the Arian heresy. Very, very few bishops truly stand up to evil when it rears its ugly head. And Bishop Strickland is one of them.
What I left Bishop Strickland's home with in my mind was, I live with several people in my family. You live with a lot of people in your family. You live with a lot of people. Some people sadly live alone, but I've never met somebody who lives with the Lord more than him. He lives with Christ in his home. That's what I left.
He's not
with.
alone at all.
Like, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What we got next, Nicholas?
Alrighty, change of turn.
Change of tone.
Oh boy.
Was there a place in you guys' life where you felt like your family kind of made the transition?
When the twins came along is when we made a huge, because mom went to the hospital, and that was the first time you implemented a full chore chart. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do.
And we all sat around the table.
He threatened
borderline
to send
nuclear
you to military
moment.
school, I think. Was that you or
He was
Patrick?
like, I will shave your head,
Yes.
ship you off. I was like, I just woke up. What did I do?
I remember this.
Why am I going to Oklahoma? I'll do the dishes. I'm sorry.
I haven't used that one with my kids yet.
That really happened. Yeah. Yeah, that was a great episode, by the way, with Peter and Mary. I've gotten more comments on that one and on, I guess the ones I've gotten the most comments on are the one with the canon lawyer about the liturgical issues, Father Pius Pacholczyk, and then one with my wife. People just liked hearing her, and then with Peter and Mary. But they're hilarious, and that those two kids were always, you get them in a room together and it's goofy and laughing.
I love that it was actually supposed to be Ohden that day.
You're right.
And
That's right.
they couldn't wait to show his picture of him with the nastiest black eye ever for why he couldn't.
The scooter thing,
like,
right?
Yes, his stupid idiot got on like a, love you, son. He got on some kind of scooter and just totally wiped out and just the biggest black eye you've ever seen in your
gnarly.
life. Yeah.
Well, you know what I think it is, why you get the reaction from that one especially, is that it's like I had the opportunity to sit with you guys, and it was like we're sitting down at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Like and that's the beauty of podcasts.
Well, they help with that. Their two personalities.
Oh, for sure.
They're both just such laid back people and funny. You know, they're very they're both kind of sanguine. Peter's very sanguine. Mary's sanguine-ish. Sanguine, phlegmatic, if you can be both of those at the same time, I don't know. But so the two of them growing up were just happiest kids ever. And then when she got married, Peter was like heartbroken. It's like, my best friend's leaving, you know. Yeah.
Who is going to join when Ohden finally does come on the show? Who are you going to match him up with?
Well, let's see. If we want to see, like, we could bring him and Patrick
they just kill each other.
and watch a fight.
Get the opposite.
Bring the popcorn and just watch them fight. Give them both brass knuckles and sell
be great.
tickets.
All right.
Sounds good.
Get it on the schedule.
Podcast
Let's do
gold.
this. Yeah.
No. I mean, as they've grown, as they've become adults, they actually love each other. But they're the two oldest boys, so there's a certain level of competitiveness there. But Ohden, you could put Ohden with anybody.
Yeah.
He's such a friendly, social guy.
Yeah, he is.
But whereas like Peter's like very, very goofy. Ohden has like, he's goofy and aggressive. So he's like got this sanguine choleric, you know, funny, and gets real serious with it.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, every night when he was a kid growing up, like he would get goofy, and he still does. He gets goofy before he goes to sleep, but inevitably something would break in the house, or he would injure someone just by goofing around and playing with it. He just roughhouses, and he's just like an elephant in the room. He just can't help himself but like knock something over. So if
one
he
are we
was
talking
here, it
about?
would Ohden.
Ohden. Is this why Patrick learned to fix so many things?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's why he's like,
He's a builder,
yeah,
man.
he's a builder. Yeah.
He can build a house.
So
by
yeah, I gotta
himself.
have Ohden on soon. Actually, we should go somewhere and smoke cigars with Ohden and film smoking cigars. That's what I want to do. I want to go sit somewhere like at my house or something like that, or on the back porch, and with like 3 or 4 of my sons, and all just have a cigar and have an episode like that. Because the funniest stuff and the deepest stuff all comes out with cigars. I don't know why, but it does.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the podcast too, is that you never
we
know
smoke
what's
in here?
gonna. Oh, it's your building, man.
We'll have to find out. I'm gonna figure that out.
Who's gonna get you in trouble?
Next.
Oh, yeah.
Doing street ministry one summer as a young friar.
Connor, are you going to
Guys
rap
in the
along
street
with him?
who's
here?
beatboxing,
I wish
gets
I
up and
could.
just starts talking rhythm and
Yeah.
rhyming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. You know, and then I said to myself, I could do that, man, because he's basically improvising with words.
Yeah.
So then I wound up developing this thing. I called it a rap attack. Would do it with the brothers. I say, yo, what you doing with your finger on your chin? You want to do it? Move your hand so I can see your grin. You're looking good, really, when you smile. Keep the beard on your face, cause it might take a while. When you go home and the family sees, I got 16 kids and a wife to go, and you go on and on and on, whatever it is. So I'd say to the brothers, yo, I gotta have a rap attack. Then they would provoke me. Fuck, you know, they would say, Stanley, do one of those things. I says, what things? Like this? Why are you making this a request to me? I'm gonna put my words all over thee. And then you're gonna ask me to please and stop. Oh, Stanley, why did I ask thee to do that in the first place? You know.
He even sounded like Benedict Rochelle saying, Stanley,
He
do
really
one of
did.
those things.
Yeah. That was the most fun podcast I've done, with the one exception of the Gallagher Brothers episode.
If we release that.
If we release that, that's
If we
still
can
the
even-
question.
That's definitely
We need
up
about
for
like
debate.
18 different people to censor that for us. Like we need a theologian, a scientist, a YouTube expert. You know, I don't know.
So somehow I didn't encounter Father Stan growing up. So
Yeah,
the
I
day
did.
we filmed that, I was coming in and I put his music on Spotify coming in. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Had no idea how, I mean, charismatic,
Yeah.
sure, in the way some people mean, but like his charisma is off the charts.
It's off the charts. So I knew of him. I remember his face and everything from when I was at Steubenville. And when I went to pick him up at Belmont Abbey, he was staying there. I went to pick him up at Belmont Abbey, and it was like, Father Stan's dad just got in the car. It's like, what happened? I mean, it's like 25 years happened, and but in my head, he was 25 years ago. But his energy,
you wouldn't know from his
energy.
energy.
You wouldn't know. His hair just turned gray. Mine will turn gray too, starting. But his energy is incredible. His innocence is incredible. His skill as a musician. I mean, he's a world-class bass player, but he does piano and everything. And it's not like his music's my favorite music to listen to. But when you step back and listen to it, the lyrics are poetic. Yeah. His music is incredible. I mean, he's amazing. And the fact that he's out there evangelizing. I've told Peter, my son Peter, speaking of sanguine guys, who's a great evangelizer, I'm like, you have got to go stay with the CFRs.
Yeah.
And see how they evangelize to people on the streets. It's amazing. It's not like what we think of around here, because we don't evangelize like that. Yeah. Father Stan was the man. Father Stan,
that was
the man. That's all I can do. That's the extent of my rapping.
That clip was like,
and he's the only rapper I've ever listened to. I don't listen to rap. I hate rap.
That clip was like 10% of the energy that he brought to the episode. If you haven't heard it yet, and you want to hear somebody, really musically go off freestyle, celebrating Christ and our faith and everything, like, go listen to that episode.
It's incredible.
And it's not just music with him. It's the voices. It's like, to me, he reminded me of Robin Williams. Like his pacing and just in and out of different characters.
A mile a minute.
Yeah.
He can imitate anyone.
Yeah, his motor is just on a different level.
You're right.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I love that guy. That was a great episode.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was cool. Next.
All right. Back to the early days of the show now.
Early days.
Last week.
I lived my whole life planning my earthly retirement. I was very successful in work. I didn't get it. I didn't spend much time on my eternal retirement.
Right. This was one of those episodes that had tissues right there.
How am I going to retire? And no, focus on your eternal retirement, and more importantly, who you want there with you. It isn't about you. Who do you want to bring along?
Paul, that was a surprise. I mean, like, we knew it'd be interesting and good, but it was really impactful. And
can we say here, like, we first released that one on the TAN channel.
Yeah, that episode went viral. You wouldn't know it now because we actually quickly learned that we needed to have our podcast on its own channel, not on the TAN channel.
I saw 140,000 views on that thing, like, within a week or something crazy.
And so we migrated it, and so the stats that you see now
still like 40 or 50,000.
Yeah, but it's a fraction. It's a fraction. It's actually, if you put them together, it's the most successful episode we've had.
By the way, so people don't know, like, that's the episode the guy died 9 times.
Near-death experience.
And had a very deep near-death experience. And he goes around and talks about that. That was an incredible story about how he died, what happened when he was dead, his wife experience, his kids experience.
Bishop Olmsted.
Bishop Olmsted enters into this story in this kind of remarkable way. I
was struck by his humility.
Oh, yeah.
To admit that, I didn't live my life the right way. You just heard it, just a small piece right there.
Yeah.
But then, and now how well-spoken he is about making up for it.
When you get to know Paul Zucarelli, that's his name. When you get to know Paul, he's a guy that was good at everything he ever did. He was a great accountant. He was a great executive. He ran this massive healthcare company, testified before Congress on things. He was just good at everything. And usually people that are really good at things learn how to make money because that's something good to be good at. Mm-hmm. And so he did all that. So then when he has this kind of conversion, he decides to get real serious about his faith and he becomes really good at that. Like, he learned his Bible. This dude can quote St. Paul better than anyone you're going to meet. So he's a remarkable guy. I think he's coming back in January. He's coming back. I need help scheduling this because he's coming. I think he's going to speak at St. Anne's and St. Mark's and some of the churches around here. So we need to have him back on the show.
Well, his wife Beth was with us too. She was fantastic.
Oh, she was like a
sweetheart.
gem.
And she gave us us perspective that he could not because he was literally dead on a table.
Yeah.
And she was able to communicate with doctors and things that he wasn't doing in that moment and give us more of the story. It was great having both of them.
Yeah, an amazing couple.
Her perspective, and then the son's perspective of feeling called to leave the hospital, go to church, go to a different church where he needed to be to find the bishop.
Yeah, it's a very strange situation. It's beyond
Incredible.
coincidence.
A church he had never been to.
Right.
Yeah, it's beyond coincidence how all this came together. Yeah, it's remarkable.
Amazing episode. Thanks, Nicholas.
Next.
Right. Probably most high-profile guest.
Most high-profile guest.
High profile.
She can't walk. She can't talk. She's fed through a G-tube. She's
Rick Santorum.
a perpetual 6-month-old. And one of the things I always think about when I think of Bella, you know, once I sort of came to terms with all this and went through the experience I talked about, I remember looking at her in the crib shortly thereafter and just realizing I'm going to have to care for her, you know, maybe the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I said, and she won't be able to do anything for me. I kept looking at her and it just hit me. I said, well, that's how God sees me. I said, I am completely disabled in the eyes of God. I can do nothing for him. Nothing. All I can do is all Bella can do, which is to love me. That's all he wants. It's all I want from her. And that's all he wants from me. And so again, Bella, the great teacher.
That's an amazing clip. And he was an amazing guest. And Rick Santorum, you know, in my day, he was like the Catholic politician, and getting to know him personally and spending time with him, and, you know, what a humble man.
Yeah.
I think remarkably humble, but people really don't, like, they know him as like the pro-life politician. There's a lot of pro-life politicians. But this guy like has lived the pro-life story like deeply, but what he was just expressing there, like, you know, it's genuine. He's just a genuine guy.
Trisomy 18 is a serious condition that Bella has.
Yeah, trisomy 18, that's right. Yeah.
I never expected to have a politician on the show who was so inspiring and faithful.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you kind of expect them all to be artificial, and he's not. Can you imagine the country we'd have if he had been able to become president when he ran for it?
I know. I really liked him. In fact, a lot of the policies he had back then when he was running, Trump just kind of picked him up and, you know, made him more popular.
Yeah.
But he had a lot, I mean, domestic manufacturing, you know, better immigration policies.
Yeah.
You know, he's more hawkish, I guess, than Trump is. But anyway, I love Santorum. I loved him as a man. I loved him as a politician. I loved him as a, you know, he's a great husband and father. He's very open and talks about that. He's the real deal.
And as a politician too, this maybe doesn't surprise people, but I promise I don't know the extent of it. But the persecution he's faced,
oh my gosh,
and how well he handles it is inspiring.
It's really he's really had persecution.
I don't know about you guys. When I think of politician, I think of someone who has the need to be liked.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that from him at all.
Yeah,
like sitting at lunch with him, he didn't feel the need to dominate the conversation. Like he seemed genuinely interested in everyone else.
Yeah.
That's what stuck with me from him and his story. Obviously.
He's humble and meek.
Right.
There's a difference. You know, he could unleash a lot more power than he does, but he's meek. Yeah.
He also taught you how to pose well for a photograph.
He did. It's a great story. So I had my hands like,
which he learned from somebody else. Amazing too.
Yeah. So it was like, it's a great story. I've told it with many guests, but like you're standing there with a picture, and I naturally put my hands in front of myself. And
feels like a natural pose.
He swapped my hands down hard, and I'm like,
"Don't stand that way.
Why are you hitting me?" He's like, "Don't stand like that way. I'll tell you in a minute why." I'm like, "Yes, sir." And then we take the picture, and he's like, "So, Conor, I stood that way one time with this famous actor, and he did that same thing. He smacked my hands down, and he said, never stand that way. It makes you look insecure. You know, and stand with your hands next to your side. That's the way you stand. Even if everyone else does it wrong, just do this. It makes you look more confident. You know, more self-possessing." And that man was Charlton Heston. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Well, now I have to do it.
I think Moses, Ben-Hur told him that. Yeah. So now I stand right with,
You crossed your arms. I
can't sit like this.
I've been sitting here like this the entire episode.
Yeah. It's funny. And I've been at church and like, look, everyone either has their hands behind their back or in their pockets or here or in front. Like they're not just like standing with their hands on the side. Yep. But you actually watch movies or something and you see characters like they've learned to actually stand with their hands at their side.
Yeah.
And but normal people can't do it.
Well, Tim definitely would have known this before, because the first thing I noticed when Tim sat down as a co-host for the first time is he took possession of the table.
The old anchor table pose.
This is it.
I don't do that with my guests.
Hold court over the table here.
Well, not in the first 50 episodes. Maybe we'll get you there.
Okay. I'll start taking command of the table. All right. What we got?
Ready.
The first message that you would want to get out there when people say, what is it like having 16 kids? Is that you absolutely don't want it to come
I'm
off
the guest
as,
on this one?
a burden.
Oh,
Because it's
Ashley's
not a
here.
burden.
Thank
You know,
goodness.
there are certainly burdens throughout the day, you know, but the overall experience of having a large family is, I mean, it's, you know, 80% joy and 20% work, you know, so.
Yeah, it depends on the
that's-
day. In the Gospels, Jesus says if you're fasting, you know, don't put ashes on your face like the hypocritical Pharisees do, but clean yourself up and smile and go to your parties and do your normal things and fast.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, you know,
I think about that all the time.
you have to
I'm
deal
like,
with
just
suffering.
cover the dark circles, put on your heels, get out the door, you know.
I remember this now.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
That was
love
so
doing that
fun.
episode.
Yeah. I think to hear from Ashley, and you right beside her as well, it totally dispels like any myth of what I would have assumed a couple that has the number of kids that you guys have and how they would interact with someone or be on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like what Ashley just said is so honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And relatable to if you have one kid or if you never even had kids. Like it's still the same challenge for her, but the way she related it was awesome.
I don't know why, but people expect her to be like a fat Amish lady. That's what they expect, having so many kids. I think it's the Amish, but they, you know, they have this image in their head that she's just this woman that has like kind of lost herself and given up, and she's just like frumpy and nerdy, and that's what they expect.
Right.
And I don't know why that is.
Well, I think because kids can be so challenging. You have 2, I have 3.
Yeah.
And I know the energy gets sucked out of me and my wife.
I love the
lot.
Amish, by the way. I keep like making fun. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just assumed it would be times 5 for her, and it'd be nearly impossible, but it's not.
I see.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus she married you, so like.
Yeah.
That's probably
She works out really hard. Like there is a lot of truth to just like physically taking care of yourself.
Sure.
And there's like a real thing there, like what you put in your body and then how you work it out. Like that's true. But it's much more just about how do you handle the chaos all day long, you know, and she just does it gracefully. But I think here's the thing is I think most people say, oh, I have 2 and it's driving me nuts and how could I ever have more? Like, no, you just do. Like you just, you know, the idea of Ashley and I having 16 kids is nuts to me. And when I had 5, the idea of having 10 was completely insane. And the idea of having 15 was completely insane. And now I say having 20 is completely insane. And that really is insane. That's the difference. That really is insane. But, you know, you just, I don't know, like you do theologically, you know that like you don't get grace until you need it. And I don't want to say that, you know, oh, we do all this because of grace, so we get more grace. But I mean, I think if you need more grace because you get more kids and more chaos going on, then yeah. But at the same time, people that have one kid that has like a severe disability or something, or they have challenges, or mom or dad are sick, their situation's harder than mine. So it's not like having X amount of kids is harder than having fewer kids. It's not. Some things are.
Yeah.
Getting them dressed in the morning to go to church is, because you can't find shoes. Like
Twins is harder. I know you talk
Twins
about
is
that.
harder. Twins is just harder in the beginning stages, but later on is better. I mean, it's great, but it's not just harder because the more numbers. That's not the thing. I think Ashley would agree. It's the hard part for me now, but it's also the best part. It's like having a daughter who's 6 days overdue. So I'm ready to have like my 3rd grandkid, and I'm still wiping butts at home and everything in between. You know, so you got a kid who's having a baby. You have a kid who's in college and interested in a certain girl and sort of dating a little bit, and I'm curious about that and trying to find out more about that, and that's kind of cool.
There you go.
Yeah, and I won't say Peter's name. And then you have a kid who's learning to drive. Teresa just got her license, you know, or her permit, or she's just passed her test and is ready to get.
She's driving now.
Well, she passed her test. I need to go take her to get her permit. And then you got kids who just like, you know, who are learning to ride a bike. And then you got kids who recently learned to walk, and you still have to cut up their hot dogs so they don't choke to death. And, you know, and it's the span. And that's the hard part with Ashley. So my point is that I think people are impressed with Ashley about the wrong things. The impressive part isn't that she just had so many kids. That's hard. But the impressive part is having like this span and still carrying yourself gracefully and keeping joy in the home. That's the impressive part, not just giving birth 17 times, if that makes sense.
For sure.
You get some negative comments about
I know.
giving birth 17 times.
I'm not saying that's not great. It's amazing. But it's more, look.
Yeah, it's more impressive.
There's a lot of people who are complete a-holes who have had 17 kids and are terrible parents. It's more impressive to run the household like she does.
Absolutely.
It's not, and that's not determined by, body fat percentage and how much you work out. That's more of a spiritual, psychological, emotional thing, keeping the household joyful. That's the much better part of this, other than just being in shape after having so many kids.
This was also one of the early episodes with split stats, so I don't know what the new stats are when we had to move it to the new channel, but it did pretty well on the first channel, on the Tan channel when we released it. It was one of the first few episodes, and I remember it was the first indicator we had doing a podcast and having guests on the show that you maybe don't have to have some, Rick Santorum or really well-known guest to have an interesting topic that people engaged with, because that episode did really well. Families were drawn to learning from your family.
We need to try again and have her back.
Yeah.
And we tried one time and it didn't quite work.
I wasn't there for that.
I just won't say anything beyond that. But we need to convince her to come back and do another one. So, in fact, we were just talking about when she was a co-host with me with someone else, which maybe we'll get to.
Yeah.
And her shorts really
Yeah.
took off, because I think people prefer hearing from her than me.
Well,
which
I know I did.
Duh.
Shut up. Next. Oh.
For
Bret.
Pope Leo.
I know, it's amazing. You were there.
I was there in St. Peter's. It was just neat to be there. The crowd was so quiet. It was like being in a library because everybody's listening, and you have this huge loudspeaker, very loud. He comes on and he says, Cardinalum Robertum Franciscum Prevost. I said, Prevost! And I couldn't contain myself. And it was so quiet, and I yelled out, Prevost! Prevost! He's American! Americano! And Katya was next to me, and she's nudging me. She's like, shut up. It's Aizito. It's like, it's American. Katya. Oh, my God. And there was like some Americans behind me. And I turned, because I heard him speaking before. I didn't say anything before, but I turned around to him. I said, you guys are American, right? We have an American Pope. And they're like, oh, my God. I was so excited. American Pope, I'm American, to be there and have, it felt like having an American father, like an uncle or a grandfather stood out there.
Yeah. Bret Thoman. I love the guy. It was a great episode, and he did a book for us on like the real St. Francis. And
he's done several books for us. A couple on Francis, one on Claire.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting one more.
But he also translated
the early legends.
No, Gabriel Amarth's biography.
Oh, he translated that?
He translated that.
You can tell from the clip, but he is such a warm, genuine, engaging, friendly guy. You can sit down and have fun with him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he was telling a story about how being there. He lives in. We have a little bit of a personal background because years ago, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, I took a couple of my kids with me when we went. When did we go and film in Rome and Assisi?
I think it's more than that, because I think Mary was like 12 or 10 or something.
Right.
You have a picture of it, I think, in your office.
Yeah, so that was 10 years ago. Or 11
well,
years ago.
Ellie was pregnant with Hannah Sophia, our first, and we were on the Appian Way filming with Father Kirby, and the sun was setting, and we're running out of time, and Ellie knew only to call me twice if there was some emergency. And back here at home, she had made the mistake of wearing heels and had fallen in the parking lot on her belly with Hannah Sophia. She was like 8 months pregnant. So I got interrupted in the middle of the Appian Way, and it was one of those classic humbling moments, because I'm like, what could possibly be so important? Oh, you fell down on the bed. Like, oh gosh. And obviously
and how old is
fine.
Hannah Sophia?
So she's 9. She turns 10 in May.
Okay, so it was 10.
It was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah, almost exactly.
And so after we filmed, Mary and Ohden and I went to Loretto, where the house of Mary
was carried by the angels.
Yeah, the house of Loretto is the house that Mary allegedly grew up in. Anne and Joachim's house, right? and it's in the town of Loretto, and he lives there. I don't know if he still lives there, but I think he does. And so when we were around, he had written at that point the biography of St. Francis. And so he showed us around. We had dinner with his family and everything. And so it had been quite a few years since I had seen him.
Yeah.
And he's a professional tour guide of Assisi and everything. So anyway,
I'd love to
Bret
have Bret
Thoman,
back.
love the guy.
Fantastic.
Tan needs to do a tan pilgrimage, and we probably need to get a guy like him to be our tour guide throughout Italy.
If the viewer has any illusions about the life of St. Francis, that he was this peaceful, animal-loving guy, watch the episode, because he is so much more impressive than that. St. Francis and Bret.
Yeah,
Bret's the expert on that.
He's been hijacked by the left.
Yeah.
And you picked a good year to start your podcast from a Pope perspective, because all this happened.
Good planning.
A few months into doing the show, right?
Well, I knew I was going to start my podcast, so I called the bishops and the cardinals and said, listen, I could really use a Catholic Pope, a Catholic Pope, sorry.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's a Freudian slip there.
We really could use a Catholic Pope. We really could. And so
can we get a Catholic, please?
Yeah.
Man.
Gosh, yeah. That's like for years. It was like is the Pope Catholic, or like, yeah, good old Pope Francis. He has some problems, but so to get an American Pope. But I have the text message, and I have evidence that before he was elected, I called it. I have that evidence. I have the text message I sent to Dad saying, I said, I didn't call it exactly, but I said, hey, you need to be on the lookout for Cardinal Prevost. I think he's got a serious shot at being the next Pope. So,
and we have somewhere in the cutting room floor, we have you telling Bishop Strickland that you thought Prevost maybe had a chance to do it too when we went to film him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to show that.
You better look that up,
because that was.
I'd love to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was cool too.
I don't think Pope Francis had even died yet at that point. You were just looking
ahead
because
he was in the hospital.
It was the first time the first time that he went.
It was when
he
went into the hospital, and I looked at all the bishops, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's an American bishop who's in charge of the dicastery of bishops.
Yeah.
So he's appointing bishops. No Americans ever heard of him, and he's on like 10 different dicasteries. Yeah. So Pope Francis likes him administratively. And
at a time when a ton of the cardinals were newly appointed and don't know each other.
No one knew anybody. So I'm like, okay, the only guy that all of these people are going to know is him.
Yeah.
And he's not far left. He's not far right. So they're going to compromise on this guy. I knew it. And that's what happened. But I should have had the guts to say it right here. I would look really smart if I had done that. But now I just look like I'm making this crap up. So, yeah.
Well, while Bret was there, we were here getting ready to do another Conor Gallagher Show episode.
Yeah, that's a great day.
With Monsignor Pope.
That was a great day.
Great. And he's the one in the conference room when they made that same announcement. We just heard that Bret said.
Yeah.
He says, an American.
Yeah.
He heard Prevost too.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Monsignor Pope is amazing. And so you get Monsignor Pope, who's here when we get a new Pope.
Unreal.
It was awesome. And it was, the whole, also, this is what I remember from that. Okay, I think we were about to start filming.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody says, white smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So we pause and we go sitting there and we have lunch and everything. And everybody's, I tell everybody at work, hey, you can come on in. Just, I don't care how long.
Yeah.
Everybody's come in and watch the TV. We'll just watch the news together.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that. And I noticed that Monsignor Pope, who I put him at the head of the table, he's sitting up there and he's praying the rosary while everyone else is talking and chattering. And I'm like, I think the Monsignor's right. And so I'm like, all right, guys, let's pray. I think we prayed the rosary, then asked him to lead it.
Well, that was before or after we put our bets in on who it was going to be.
Yeah, that's right. It was after the bets. That's why it was noisy, because I'm putting the tallies up on the board.
Right. And no one had.
I didn't put Prevost up there. I didn't because I didn't want to look like an idiot. Right. But it was in my text messaging, and I talked to Strickland about it. See, I lost the guts to say it.
I'll take credit for getting my bet on Leo being right, though.
Yeah, that was good. That was impressive.
Not that I had any reason to pick it. I just liked it.
Oh, you picked the name.
I liked Leo. Yeah, I was like, I hope it's a Leo. It'd be great.
I love it.
I just figured it would signify something good for the church if it was.
It's got to be. Yeah.
I interrupted you though.
No, we're good.
Okay. Next one.
This next clip segues nicely into this.
Any early indications of what you think Pope Leo is going to be like?
Well, I think his stylistically, he's a lot different. He wore the pontifical robes and he came out on the balcony. Now, there have been continuity with Pope Francis things, which for me can be concerning. he talked about a synodal church.
Yeah.
He's appointed some people, such as the Pontifical Academy for Life. You're not going to reform an institution that needs reform by putting the existing number 2 in the number 1 slot. So the Lateran University, likewise, that's some questions. So we'll see. He's certainly educated. He knows canon law. I think we have a possibility here for a pope who will respond to the ordinary expressions of people, the cardinals, the bishops, what they want to be done.
At the very least, I think he's going to bring order and structure to this. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic and hopeful. Father Murray's a genius. He's he's highly educated. He's a crystal clear thinker. His mind is like a knife. It just like cuts cleanly. There's no jagged edges there. I really enjoyed my time with him. He's part of the papal posse, which kind of makes him famous on EWTN and whatnot. But very approachable guy. Had a great dinner with him and our dad. We went to the Web for dinner.
Nice.
And had a just a very nice, good guy, and but an intense mind. Like he's intense because he thinks so clearly. And so I'd love to bring him back on. We have a book coming out with him. So one of the good things about the podcast is it got us another book,
I think you can see his incisiveness with some of the engagement on his videos. Like I think a lot of the comments and things were more engaged than we even expected with his. It was a great episode.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where even if you don't agree with his opinion, you have to respect it for how he articulates it.
Yeah. He's got a command about his presence.
Yeah.
But when we went to dinner, he's just like a normal pastor in New York or DC. New York, DC?
New York.
Okay, New York. But he's just like a normal pastor.
Right. Approachable.
Yeah.
Practical. A lot of real world stuff.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah,
I really liked him a lot.
We're 6 months in with Pope Leo now. Are you still hopeful and optimistic? Put you on the spot.
Do we record this? I don't know. My fear is that I think it's safe to say that Pope Francis was an ideologue. He really was. He was not a pragmatist. He had a view. He was going to push it through no matter what. Didn't care about the damage he caused. He's an ideologue. A pragmatist is something very different. From the receptive side, we like a pragmatist better than an ideologue who's on the wrong side, because that pragmatist is going to be practical and give you half a loaf, not the whole loaf, but half a loaf. So I've been meditating on this like ideologue versus pragmatist, and I think Leo is the pragmatist because I think he's going to try to make the Father James Martins happy. He's going to try to make the left side happy on the LGBTQ stuff. I think he's going to do that. Could be wrong. Please prove me wrong. But on the other side, and let me say, I think he very well may be well-intentioned, trying to be charitable to that class of people. I'm not saying he's like playing a game. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he's probably not going to bring the hammer down on them because he thinks charity dictates otherwise. I disagree, but I think he's going to err on the side of being softer on them. And at the same time, he's clearly proving to be much stronger on the liturgy and to be supportive of more traditional liturgy, even having Cardinal Burke say Latin Mass. I mean, it's amazing. So in one regard, we're getting more of what we want. But I would, if I was behind closed doors with the Holy Father, which is a ridiculous thought, but it was like, hey, I would say, I'm not presuming to know your conscience, but I'm not saying that you're compromising. I'm not saying that. But if you are, it never works long term. Have the long view. Like saints don't compromise. They don't. I'm not saying that they have to just wield their heavy hammer like with no questions asked. There's strategy, there's tactics, but then there's kind of compromising. And it's the third temptation in the desert. You have the first where it's like, hey, I want bread. I'm thirsty, and that is a temptation. Jesus' three temptations, the temptation in the desert of, just pleasure. I need some comfort here. I need pleasure. The second one is the temptation of presumption. Throw yourself off the pinnacle here, and God will save you. And we have presumption. We have the sin of presumption all the time. I can sin and just go to confession, it's fixed. The third is pragmatism. If you just bow down a little bit before me, just let the knee just barely touch the ground, I'll give you the whole world. And then you can do whatever you want with this whole world. You can make the whole world Catholic. But you just have to bow just a little bit towards me. That's the temptation of pragmatism. In my mind, that's how I read it. That's how I've meditated. Lexio's kind of shown me that.
Yeah.
And we need to pray for the Holy Father, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, that he does not fall into the sin of pragmatism or compromise with evil in order to intend to bring out a better good.
Yeah.
That's my answer to your question.
Strong.
I got nothing to add to that. That's
Alrighty.
next.
He's one of our most popular guests on the show.
Most popular.
Oh yeah.
Tattooing was a pagan phenomenon.
Really?
The people of God did not get tattoos. It was a pagan thing.
Yeah. All right, but okay, so that's how it was used in the past. But I mean, why does it make it? Is it intrinsically a problem?
Well, I think
foolish?
it's foolish, and I think people do it out of ignorance. Oftentimes, it marks you at a time of your life that you may not be there forever. We have a protocol Father Ripperker has for decommissioning tattoos as well. I think it's on our webpage. But you'll see often, not always, but oftentimes, a tattoo will light up fire hot.
Are you serious?
When a priest prays over them, yeah.
I would freak out if I saw that.
Yeah.
I keep telling my teenage sons, you don't get tattoos.
By the way, when you said foolish there, I thought I heard something else. Full of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? Oh, foolish. By the way, Dan is recording with Sean Ryan again today.
Are you serious?
And that's what we were told yesterday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
well, good. I almost called him for something completely unrelated, and I'm glad I didn't.
He deserves all the recognition and notoriety that comes with that, because it's a big name podcast. For those who don't know, it's top 5 in the world for the last few years. And Sean Ryan Show is great, but Dan is a great guest, and that's why we've had him 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about not compromising, right? I mean, he's in speaking clearly and articulating opinions is what I mentioned about Father Murray, right? Certainly Dan is that guy too. With tattoos, yoga, Ouija boards, all kinds of stuff. If you throw that out there and spiritual warfare, you're looking to get a clear answer.
Yeah.
Dan does that.
The devil does not like Dr. Dan Schneider.
No.
Just period. He does not like men like that. So, and we have people like, famous exorcists. There's quite a few. Mm-hmm. But him and Jesse Ramiro and these types of guys who are really involved with the spiritual warfare side of things and assisting in exorcisms, like the laity do play a very important role in this. Yep. And his practical knowledge, you could call Dan up tomorrow and say, Dan, I have a problem. I need theological advice. I need catechetical advice. I need spiritual advice. I need emotional advice. I need family advice, marriage advice, parenting advice.
You can synthesize all of that.
He's amazing at being able to just give you clear, concrete, very direct, to the point, charitable advice. He's a remarkable man. Yeah. Yeah. And a good friend. Here we go.
The only thing that should give you consolation legitimately is God.
Yeah.
Purify your relationship with Him so that you seek Him out for consolation. So many of us, we've had a long day at work, have a lot of stress or suffering. We turn to food, we turn to alcohol, we turn to media, we turn to physical pleasures. She said those things can all be enjoyed legitimately in moderation, but for consolation, you go to God.
Yeah. Well,
St. Teresa of Avila. Yeah.
Father Reid's incredible.
Yeah.
He's been like our family priest for a long, long time. He's been there for my wife and kids and me. And then he comes on and does this Teresa of Avila thing, and boom, it really takes off.
That episode was strong.
Yeah, real strong. Really strong shorts on the counts there too. So yeah, I could talk to him for hours and hours and hours, pretty much about anything, but he's a third order Carmelite, so his personal spirituality is very Carmelite oriented. So Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, Elizabeth of the Trinity, Therese of Lisieux, it goes on. So he's really steeped in that. It's very important to him. And, I think he's if not already, he's on his way to actually being a contemplative giant himself. Like if that man goes and prays about something and he comes back and says, hey, I got this in my prayer, I believe him. Yeah. So amazing pastor, amazing friend. Yeah.
And he's a guy that will give you a very strong message, but in
a velvet glove.
Exactly.
Yeah. Iron fist and a velvet
compassion.
glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something too about how at peace he is with himself. I think that just oozes out when he speaks, when he's in a conversation.
Yeah, if you needed somebody to give you really bad news, you'd want it to be him. If you needed somebody to like critique you and put you in your place, you'd actually want it to be him because he's able to like do that, but you're not offended.
So it is compassion that comes to my mind, and that word means, suffer with, compassio, suffer with. And I feel like that's what he does. That's what makes it so special when he's delivering those messages, like you were just saying, whether it's, dealing with difficulties in life or, helping set people on the right path. Like he does it with compassion. You truly feel like he's suffering with you in your own journey.
Yeah, he's great at many things. He's a great homilist. He's a great administrator, all this kind of stuff. But I mean, really, he's a great pastor, and that's higher praise than all the other stuff. He's a great pastor.
But also,
I was sitting with Cardinal Burke one day. I can't believe I'm going to say this on the air, but I'm sitting with Cardinal Burke in his house, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you know people and pull strings or whatever, but Father Timothy Reid should be a bishop, period, end of discussion. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. If he's made a bishop, I'll take credit for it.
You heard it here first. Conor Gallagher Show.
He should be.
Yeah,
we should be, people like that should be bishops because he's rock solid. He's an extraordinary administrator. He's a great evangelizer. He does not back down from a fight, and he's pastoral. Yeah, it's just remarkable.
The comments we get from him too of how he helps people through the interior castle with their commentaries. That can be a difficult read for people, and he really opens a lot of eyes and hearts. I think
quite a few comments said I wanted to enjoy this book and learn from it, but I didn't know how to until hearing him help break it down. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so is our commentaries podcast that he did as well, where he goes in depth into Interior Castle, and he did Way of Perfection too. So
amazing! You can get that on our app.
That's on Spotify and on Tan Digital.
On Tan Digital, he did the series is called The Commentaries, and it's a detailed explanation of each chapter in those incredible books: Teresa of Avila, Way of Perfection, Interior Castle, masterpiece.
And actually, a recent episode we released, Father Nixon has commentaries on that podcast series as well. We have Sister Mary Madeline Todd coming as a guest. I don't know what date it is, but coming up in the next few months.
Catherine of Siena.
And she did a Catherine of Siena dialogue commentary for us.
Too.
Yeah. Check out that podcast if you haven't.
Yeah, awesome. Next.
All right, we're going back a little ways for this next one.
Going back.
There we are.
Ooh, Marcus.
This first week of May 2022, Congressman Jordan had gone on a press conference on the media and announced retaliation against conservative employees at the FBI. And, comically enough, my attorneys got a phone call from the Bureau literally within hours after that press conference that Congressman Jordan had, announcing that the FBI was essentially doing a purge of conservative employees from the Bureau ranks.
What do you want to say about Marcus Allen?
I'll say a couple things. First, I was so happy to have him on the show because before I knew that he lived in the area and that it was, not just possible, but even easy perhaps to get him on the show with us. I had seen his, testimony, if that's what it's called, before Congress, where he called on everybody to pray the rosary. That was bold, and I appreciated that. So I thought it was great to have him on the show. I'll also say it was probably the first very clear indication of our friends at Google, YouTube, not always permitting certain topics to be visible to our audience. It was clearly limited, is how YouTube would refer to it.
Yeah.
We would say like suppressed or shadow banned or something. So, I mean, I won't go into the details because at the risk of getting this episode suppressed,
already done now.
Go check it out. It's an amazing story with Marcus Allen. That's who that guest is. Check out his testimony that you can find on C-SPAN on YouTube before Congress about FBI whistleblower misconduct stuff. Weaponization of government. Really, really good. Loved having him on the show.
He's a smart guy. He is a convicted man. Like he is like a very strong believer You know, if there was like a crusade,
yeah,
he'd be like in the front lines.
Yeah.
You know, he's a fighter, a believer, faithful.
Yeah. You can tell his interior life is well ordered.
It's the real thing.
Yeah, and it came up against people who just didn't have a clue what they were up against.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
They picked on the wrong dude.
You're right.
In so many ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of evil going on in the FBI, and he stood up to some people and paid the price.
Yep.
So,
Great
next.
Right. Speaking of standing up to people.
Oh, yeah.
Pharmaceutical companies heavily finance medical education, medical schools in a very direct, very large way, and they're not hiding it. It's just right out there, out in the open. And so then the medical schools are training the doctors. The medical schools, you know, they're them and the CDC. Everyone's making medical policy. You know, all the biggest medical organizations like the AMA and the AAP, the American Academy of Pediatrics, they make all these medical policies for everyone to follow, and it's all financed by the pharmaceutical companies. So you just look at mainstream medicine as this big, huge entity, and just as a whole, they all believe vaccines are good and everyone should get every single one on time. That's going to give your child the best chance of being the healthiest person they can ever be. So let's naturally incentivize that.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense if you look at it from that mainstream medical viewpoint.
I think the good doctor misspoke there. I think he meant to say schmaxines.
Schmaxines.
Yeah, that's
Speaking of getting suppressed.
interesting. Yeah. So,
Dr. Bob.
Leave that one out a little bit. But yeah, amazing guest.
But the fact that his personal history is being the son of one of the most famous pediatricians in the history of our country, and his dad didn't want him to pursue this perspective, basically.
Yeah.
Here's what I think of when here's the thought that comes to mind with that episode. I've really been able to tell the difference now between talking to interviewing a very knowledgeable person and a true world-class expert. There's a difference. And I'm not saying you have to have a world-class expert for every single thing. You don't. But when you're going into a topic that's sensitive, that's maybe scientific, or that's highly theological, or whatever, like there's a deep level of specialty to it.
Especially when it's not mainstream.
Right. Having a true bona fide world-class expert makes the conversation like 10 times better. The difference between a world-class expert and a knowledgeable person is not small, it's massive. And he's world-class. And it makes me want to get more and more world-class people, you know, at least on the certain subjects, you know.
You do really well with the podcast.
Thanks, Kevin.
But that episode, I was very glad Ashley was with you. She was great.
I didn't say much of anything.
She was able to help really guide that
She's the one living this stuff.
Into the interests of families everywhere with the questions they're facing.
Well, again, I was really surprised at how I feel like representative Ashley was of every mother out there. She wasn't the mother of 16 kids in that conversation.
Right.
She was a mom.
That's right.
And every mother is going through this to some degree right now.
Right. And if they're not asking it at all, then I'm sorry, but mom's probably ignorant or neglectful, because like you need to be asking questions.
Post schmovid.
Yeah,
you know, you have to. I'm just gonna keep doing. I'm gonna schma on everything that is a post schmovid. Yeah. Every mom that cares and is paying attention and not just totally.
It makes you realize that there's probably a lot of parents out there that have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they just do exactly what doctors tell them to do, and they just eat whatever food's in the grocery store, or whatever. I mean, they just kind of go through their parenting career kind of blindly.
Well, but the thumbnail for that episode is the right message. Trust the experts with a question mark. That's intentional, because I think today we should be questioning that. So,
but it's incredible to me to hear Dr. Bob Sears, son of famous pediatrician, say he started to look into this. Not as a doctor.
You're right.
Only when his wife read the medical release for their kid to have their first vaccines.
You're right. Yeah, and so the guy who wrote all this whole library, Dr. Sears, what was his first name?
I think he's Bill.
Dr. Bill Sears. He wrote this whole Sears library. his son comes around, becomes a pediatrician, but before he's that, they start disagreeing about this subject, which you don't need to say
initially.
Yep. And then, but the dad has kind of come around.
Absolutely.
To the son's side.
But Bill was kind of revolutionary in his own sense, right?
Yeah.
To advocate for breastfeeding in a time where that was completely against the generally accepted medical purview.
Yeah.
And then he saw his son be going against the grain and advised him not to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, including an 8-year battle with the medical board in the state of California.
Yeah, you're right.
It's wild.
Yeah, it was a great story, and he was a great guest, and it was suppressed.
Definitely. Well, we
and we did put it on Spotify.
We didn't release the whole episode for that reason. Yeah. We may release the whole episode on YouTube later, but for now, if you want to hear the whole episode, you got to go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, one of the other ones. It's not on YouTube because it just we knew, and the stats prove it out with that episode and others.
We only put 15 minutes on, and even that was suppressed.
Yeah, it's just a preview. And it's,
maybe at our 100th episode or 150th.
Was that suppressed? Was that suppressed?
Be better.
Nicholas, I mean,
the 15-minute one.
There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, there's sometimes
ads
it's
have been
obvious.
Disapproved for that, that episode.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, 150 what?
Maybe by the 150th episode that we have on this,
put it out there.
We'll be in a different place in the world. I'm hopeful.
I'd love to get to the point where I just don't give a crap about that.
But
right now we're so small that it's kind of, I'm not that small.
Yeah. It's not that you care about the content. It's just trying to make sure that we get maximum visibility for the show. I mean, we don't want to waste
you have one
Dr.
show
Bob's time coming here.
On something that starts with SCH, like Schma or something. and it tanks Teresa of Avila.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to walk that line.
Right. And I'm hopeful 150 episodes in that the world will be in a place where we realize freedom of information is a good thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, next.
All right. Since this episode has already been flagged.
Oh yeah, speaking of suppression.
Where are we as a culture in regards to this? I mean, I think one place you said one in 5 Americans is on an antidepressant.
That's right.
What?
20% of Americans now on antidepressants.
Schmantidepressants.
How can that be?
Yeah, I know.
It must just be general practitioners, because there's not that many psychiatrists.
That's a key point. 2/3 of these antidepressants are prescribed by general practitioners, your personal physician, and only 1/3 by a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And the problem is so many of those doctors have not been properly sort of educated about the side effects.
Man, that was... Is that the most powerful episode we've done?
Yes.
And it's the most suppressed. It's the least viewed episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
And it's probably in many respects the best we've ever done.
If there's any episode that kind of makes me angry, it's that, because it deserves to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And the system won't allow it. So, yeah.
So the rage against the machine anger, not against Ed Jones personally. Right?
Yeah. No, not at all. No, Ed's great. The story's great. That's the crux of the story, but that's part of a bigger story with David Crespi, which how much you want to get into that, but if it's an amazing story.
I'll give the thumbnail. David Crespi 20 years ago was an upstanding citizen and great devout Catholic, highly accomplished executive, and just out of nowhere he killed his 5-year-old daughters, and goes to prison and signs a deal while under the influence of massive mind-altering drugs prescribed by doctors. And so the whole story is about how in the world did this guy do this? Absolutely no propensity towards violence. But the reality is that the countless examples. When I read that guy's book, Ed Jones, awesome guy, man. I loved Ed. What a good soul. Yeah. Just good. Ed, you're a good soul. But when you do the research, you find how many of these mass shootings were tied to schmedications, and then how many times the schmedication had been, recently changed. The dosages had changed. Like it's crazy.
And stacked on top of each other, just without.
Yeah, stacked on top. So
carelessly.
I really, like, if there was any episode that we've done that I would ask people to go and listen to, I don't even
share it with everybody.
Yeah, and sharing it. I think for their own spiritual life, I'd probably say listen to Teresa of Avila or something like that. But in terms of importance in society and culture, I'd probably say this episode with Ed Jones, because we all know people who are on these meds. And I'm not saying that the meds, you should never be on it, but we just take them like candy without really thinking and processing what's going on.
Yeah.
And when you hear the stories of the violence that ensues after taking these things, it will make you think twice. I mean, it's, you know, I get exposed to a lot of cool stuff, a lot of smart people. And that episode was shocking, and the book was shocking. I mean, like, I shouldn't be shocked at this point in my life, and I really am.
And you already kind of knew the story, and it still was shocking when you get the details. And Kim, his wife, who stood by him all this time, we're hoping to have her on the show soon. We're talking about that.
Kim's a saint with a capital S and like a halo around her head. I mean, she's the real deal. Talking about a woman who has suffered in every way.
Yeah.
I mean, so she's completely disabled now with a severe case of Parkinson's, and her husband's been in prison for 20 years, and her kids have suffered, and she lost two on that terrible day. And sitting down with her recently and talking about whether I should do an episode with her, I just leave getting in the car driving away like, man, I'm such a piece of crap. Gosh, I mean, you know, this woman, like, I complain when, like, I have to do the dishes because I'm like, the kids should have done it. You know, I mean, I complain when, you know, whatever, just whatever, you know, I just complain whenever and whatever. She doesn't complain, and her whole life has collapsed in on itself multiple times. It's unreal. And I don't know if she's like a victim soul, you know, I don't want to be technical with that because that's like a really heavy duty thing, but there are clearly some people like ordained by God to endure suffering that the rest of us would just never be able to endure. And she's one of them. So I'm going to interview, and we're going to have to go to her house because she's, you know, really kind of trapped. I mean, she can get out, but it's very hard. So we'll go there and film her. And that is not to hear the whole story again. That's not, I'm sure some of it will come out, but it's about mercy, compassion, forgiveness, patience, faith, hope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the episode because she's just like a walking, talking version of that. And everyone who would listen to that one would be like, oh man, I don't have any problems and I'm a wimp and I need to get my act together.
Inspiration. Yeah, for sure. Next.
Right. Complete change of topic. I want to say only non-Catholic.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
And the Bible's clear. Death comes in the world because of man's sin. Before sin, no death. Here's the problem. In the evolutionary worldview, those rock colors were laid down slowly over millions of years. Watch this. Long before man ever existed. And thus before sin. And in those rock layers supposedly laid down before man, before sin, you find lots of what? Death, disease, bloodshed, cancer,
got it.
Thorns.
Now I know.
Right?
Now I got it.
Right? And so that you're assuming all that existed before man sinned. And that has so many problems.
First of all, only non-Catholic we've had on the show.
Bryan Osborne.
Bryan Osborne. I went to the Ark twice. I love the Ark.
Sears too.
No, he's Catholic.
He's Catholic?
I think so.
I didn't realize.
I don't know that. I don't even know. I don't even know if he's
But
Catholic.
Bryan's great though.
Yeah, Bryan was fantastic. I mean, he's a fundamentalist. So like we have some different fundamentals, no pun intended, you know, but we have so much more in common. Like if he lived down the street from us, like our kids would hang out with his kids a lot more than they would hang out with the average Catholic at the church down the street. Right? I mean, like we have so much in common. Such wonderful people. They got sola scriptura. I mean, that's their problem. You know, that's their problem. But I don't know. I really want to have. Who's the guy at the Colby Center? I'm forgetting his name.
We've reached out.
Yeah. We were talking about
yelling right
Yeah.
Comments.
But we're going to have a Catholic version of a young earther come on and explain the young earth position. And I think they'll find it's like 90% the same as Bryan Osborne's version of young earther. Hugh Owen.
Yeah.
So apparently he's like the leading guy in this subject. So I hope that he'll come on. I don't think you'll ever come around to the young earth.
I don't know. I mean, I could. I've always said it's just to me, it looks like the evidence is, if it is young Earth, that God created us in that state where there's things that look older than they were. But I don't know. Yeah, it'd be a little hard for me to come around on, but
I'm not there. I'm not there yet. But it's funny, the X-Files.
Yeah.
Fox Mulder always has this sign that says, "I want to believe." He's like, "I want to believe in aliens." It's funny.
Yeah.
I'm saying I want to be a young Earther. Like I want to be. There's something cool and alluring, and I find comfort in the idea that the Bible is much more literal than Catholics tend to think it is. I mean, I've studied Scripture a lot. I mean, I understand there's the allegorical and the different senses of Scripture. I get it. I mean, I'm doing a dissertation on an allegorical understanding of the Song of Songs. So I get allegory, but I tend to think, if I was a betting man, that when we die and go to heaven and meet our Maker, we're going to see, oh, he was much more direct and precise than we gave him credit. Like we continually think our way out of the obvious. And I think we do that. And I think we've done that with a lot of stuff in Scripture. I have absolutely no problem believing that man used to be 900 years old and we've devolved to living to 80 years. I don't have any problem believing that. I just have never spent the time to like research it really.
To be convicted in that belief.
And
right.
You need a tissue? What are you doing? What are you doing? Did I make you cry talking about the
Try not to cough.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm watching his eye get red and starting to tear up. I'm like,
the young Earth dissertation. Gets me every time, guys.
Gets you every time. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, go ahead and cough. It's like better than watching you cry.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Maybe he's a fundamentalist and I've insulted him. Is that what it is?
Nope. Good.
Okay. So yeah, I want to be a young Earther, but I want to be it, as a Catholic. But I'm not there, and I haven't taken the time to research, and I don't know if I ever will.
They have a lot of solid arguments that I can agree with too. The concept of dragons, dinosaurs being.
I'm very convinced on
dragons.
that one.
Me too, but that just to take that, individually doesn't convince me of young Earth. It's just like,
correct.
Okay, I think humans could have coexisted.
Yes.
And that's where the legends of dragons come from.
I believe that.
But currently, for me, that means human
So
civilization is
believing
much older
believing that the Earth is 6,000 years old is not the same thing as believing that dinosaurs may not have gone completely extinct.
Yeah.
And they existed, and so many of these medieval cultures and stuff coexisted with humans, and they see dragons, but it's actually dinosaurs. Why is that such a hard thing to believe?
And it's not the same thing as believing that dinosaurs had to be millions of years ago, right? I mean, carbon dating has a lot of problems with it, especially if it's not executed.
And unless people are faking
in a
it,
very narrow set of requirements.
There are records and photographs of dinosaurs with skin that are dug up out of the desert. And that should not be the case.
Yep. So a lot of good arguments. And for those who don't know, Bryan represents the Creation Museum and the Ark in Kentucky, right?
The Experience,
The Ark Experience. Ark Encounter, thank you, Nicholas. And I haven't been yet, but I can't wait to go. It looks amazing to see a life-size Ark in the middle of Kentucky. Noah's Ark.
Well, I think you're going soon.
Am I? Do we have it on the calendar?
Because we're going to Cengage, which is our fulfillment center up in Cincinnati. I don't know if you're going, but
I told everybody I wanted to go when we go, because I haven't been to Cengage yet either.
In January.
Yep.
We need to get him on the calendar.
It's probably on my calendar. I haven't seen it.
But it's 45 minutes from Cengage.
Yeah, awesome. I can't
so
wait.
we added a day, and I'm taking my executive team. So this will be the third time at the Ark for me. So apparently I like it.
I can't wait to go. Viewers should check out our episode with Bryan Osborne, check out the Ark Encounter website, support what they're doing.
All the grandparents out there, I think I have a lot of grandparents.
Yeah,
take your grandkids to the Ark, man. I mean, it like smashes Disney World.
Yeah.
Smashes Carowinds, smashes Six Flags. Don't waste your time doing that crap. Go to the Ark.
Yeah. All right. Next.
While we're on faith and science, I wanted to include
Oh yeah.
This is, one of the great injustices of our age.
Yeah.
And nobody's really talking about it. And here's really, Conor, in my opinion, the most important question that's raised by this. How do we stop the assembly line?
Yes.
Because everyone's saying, let's talk about embryo adoption because we have all these leftover embryos and we should be able to implant them into women. And it's like, are you kidding me? Don't you see what that's going to do? That's going to say to the industry, all right, we need a two-tier system. Wow. One tier is we do IVF. You pay us, $12,000. We'll make you your own baby. Hey, if you only got $2,000, we have a bunch of spare embryos here. We've got them categorized. Some of them are this race or ethnicity. You tell us what you want. We'll pick it out. You get the product you want. Only $2,000, we'll implant you. And then they'll be pressured to keep the stockpiles current. So this idea that by making embryo adoption licit, allowable, is going to solve the problem.
I never even thought about
it's
that.
It's all backwards.
It's feeding the machine.
It's feeding the machine, the monster. It's feeding the monster.
What you've done, if you implant these, then you've actually you've turned it into consumerism.
Yes, which it already is. IVF is a huge consumerist,
but
massive industry.
It would skyrocket the demand if you started adopting these things off.
It would feed right into the continuity of this horrible practice of IVF.
All right. I'm so glad you brought that one up. Father Tad, I still can't say his last name. Can anybody say his last name? I don't know.
Pacholczyk.
Huh?
Pacholczyk?
I think it's Pacholczyk.
Pacholczyk. Father Tad, maybe, like if I was to score out all the different guests on like different levels, okay, like
way up there.
Topic, like how interesting the topic is, how expert, how educated they are on the subject.
IQ.
Way up. IQ, just like how smart is this person?
Able to articulate it?
Are able to articulate it in a way that you're like enraptured, but also still like this calm expertise versus like I get, which is crazy. He might be the top.
Yeah.
He might be the top because he's talking about pretty deep stuff for multiple hours, and I was completely enraptured. Like if this guy was my biology teacher in high school, I would have gotten an A.
Well, on multiple levels too.
Multiple levels.
Biology and theology, and it's all.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He might have been the best guest I've had.
Yeah, we almost never.
And it's not. I don't think I've said that yet before because I think of the topics.
Yeah.
Or I think of like funny Father Stan, which I mean not just funny, but I think of topics that I personally find more interesting. Like I find the Ark more interesting, or there's other, but I'm not terribly interested in IVF and adoption of embryos
for
and whatnot.
That 2.5 hours.
But it's like,
he
was such an incredible guest
and expert
that I loved every minute of spending time with him. And we've kind of struck up a friendship too. Like we've texted and everything and had other dealings with each other. He's a remarkably kind, charitable, and brilliant man. I think he's doing a tremendous service to the church. Like if we had 10 more of those guys in the bioethics industry, the church would really make a difference. I love that guy. I think if I had to pick, best guest of the year.
Interesting. Wow. High praise.
I think I would pick
that. The guest list we've had, that's high praise.
I think I would pick him. I hate to say that because it's like everyone else.
Not to put
that's why I don't want to pick like the top 5 or top 10. Yeah. But if I pick the top 1, I think I'd say him. So I can't even say his last name.
We'll bring him back for a lesson.
Actually, we do. We need actually.
Speaking of talk about a lot AI too.
We need to get him back on and do another bioethics topic. There's plenty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everything with transhumanism, we didn't get too much into it, but he's on it.
Yeah.
We almost never do this.
No, I'm wrong. He is not my best guest. Ashley was the best guest. Okay. Ashley was the best guest when you interviewed her.
That's what I heard.
Ashley was hosting the show.
No,
so you don't have to count her as a guest.
Okay, well you interviewed the two of us.
You're off the hook. It was her show that day.
All right,
so you're good.
Okay.
So we almost never do this. We don't change titles on videos because it's not recommended. It doesn't typically move the needle. But with this one, I don't remember what the original title was, but it had IVF right there leading up, and it didn't do so great out of the gate. And so you and I were at a soccer game here in Charlotte, actually. We're talking. Yeah. We're like, what can we do? Is this title just not appealing for click-through rate? What was going on with it? And we changed the title to Babies Kept on Ice. And then it didn't go viral, but it took off quite a bit more, which is rare. Like you wouldn't expect a title change to have as much of an impact.
Well, that kind of says it all. You're like,
But like you were saying, IVF doesn't necessarily draw people in. They think they know what it is often, even if they don't. They think most of them don't think at all about moral ramifications for it. But it just doesn't seem to be a topic that somebody wants to click through and watch on. But then you say babies kept on ice.
It's awesome.
And people started clicking on it.
I mean, I say it's awesome. That's a terrible way to say it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the impact, getting people to think about it for what it actually is, drawing them in to learn about it is awesome.
All right. I think one of the coolest things that anyone has said to me on a podcast. I need to go back and listen to this episode because the more I'm thinking about it, the more I love it. But one of the coolest things I've heard on a podcast is when he said that he knows a woman who did IVF a long time ago and has frozen embryos, and she lives across the country, but she pays a couple $100 a year or whatever to keep those embryos frozen because she doesn't want to thaw them and she doesn't want them to be implanted. And so she calls once a year, like on their birthday, essentially, or the day they were conceived, or however she concludes that, and basically asks the person working there, okay, would you go check on my babies? How are they doing? They okay? Okay, good. And then she makes this phone call, and it's like a lifetime of penance that she's doing this. But like I found that striking,
affirming.
I found it really kind of incredible. I think very few people would think in those terms, but when you hear a mother doing that, I think that should show the rest of us. IVF and frozen embryos is a disgusting, horrifically evil procedure, and when you do it, and then they're stuck with these frozen embryos, it's just an impossible moral situation. And the best you can do is, the best you can do.
Yeah, if you want a better...
The jury's out on what you're supposed to do.
If you want a better argument about what to do, listen to the episode with Father Tad, because he lays it out very well. I never considered it that way.
And he disagreed. Like I thought he was going to say one thing. He corrected me, very nicely. But I was like, hey, so your position is X. I thought he said your position is thaw them out.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm not in favor of thawing out or implanting.
Yeah.
Just let them go on indefinitely.
It's possible they will just naturally die.
Yeah. It's
which is God's will.
A moral dilemma beyond belief, in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah, we're so fortunate as Catholics to have a guy who went to Harvard and Yale.
Yeah.
To be able to explain it scientifically, morally, theologically.
Normally not impressed by that.
I love the guy.
Father Tad is very impressive.
Yeah. All right, he wins the award. Hope you don't show me somebody now. So I'm like, ooh, maybe he gets the award.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think Father, wouldn't have thought that. So good. Yeah.
Change of tone.
I have like one claim to fame at Steubenville, other than for making a fool of myself on a number of occasions. But I go into the classroom. The classroom is like right there.
Audi Max. Yeah, that's what they call it. Audi Max.
Okay. And the bedrooms are through this door right there, right? So, and these steps are pretty steep going up, but I go into the classroom at like 5 a.m. to study for my exam. I walk in, I sit down, I'm blurry-eyed, and I start studying, and like 10 seconds later, I hear a noise, and I turn to my left, and there is a horse in the classroom. I'm like, am I still asleep? And then I notice on the whiteboard it says, remember, I can't walk downstairs.
Yes. What is that?
And I know a thing or two about horses, and you're right, they can go up, but they can't go down. So I'm like, what the hell do I do?
I haven't seen this one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm glad you guys giggled as much as I did when I was doing it. That makes me feel better because I felt a little insane while I was doing it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so we left that kind of...
Because we're laughing doesn't make you not insane.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. You kind of left that as the cliffhanger, though. You would have finished that story for everybody who didn't hear the end of it?
Yeah, it's a true story. So I went and like knocked on the door of the RD, and I'm like, hey, man, there's a horse in the classroom. And he's like, Conor, you're drunk again. Go back to bed. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm really serious, dude. You got to come out. And so he came out, and he's like, holy crap, what do we do? And so he goes and wakes up somebody else, and before you know it, like the whole administration's in there, and they go and get like 4 farm guys from around the town. They figure out whose horse it is. They all know as soon as they get there. They don't speak a lick of English.
This is in Austria?
Yeah, Gaming, Austria. And so like watching these guys trying to figure out how to get this horse to go downstairs was unbelievable. It's like, this is not going to work. I mean,
call in the cranes.
Yeah, it's like we don't. There weren't. Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Yeah. Like tranquilize the thing and like slide it down the steps? Like he ain't going. They tried for a minute, like 4 guys, one on each hoof, and I'm sitting there watching. It's like, guys, this ain't gonna work. So eventually they took him through the building, and they found a way to like go through a bedroom and go through this like door/window thing that opened to the back of the building. They figured out how to do it.
It's a demented escape room.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Get the horse out.
It was crazy. And this poor guy who will remain nameless, everyone, and he was a practical jokester.
Who did the prank? Yeah.
No, here's the thing.
He got credit for it, but he didn't do it.
So this is true. This is true. So by this point, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Still pretty early. I can't believe I'm going to tell this. I wonder if any comments will come in about this. But I'm not saying his name, but they went and they knocked on his door. And so it was like
prime suspect.
Yeah. And they're like, did you do this? And guess what? They find a girl in his room.
Oh no.
Which at Steubenville is capital punishment. They take you outside, they tie you to the stake, and they burn you alive. Like, that's what they do if that happens, right?
Yeah.
Which might be the proper thing to do. You know, a more merciful thing, just beheading would probably get the job done quicker. I don't know if they'd be burned, but beheading would be fine.
You want the girl to feel guilty.
Right, exactly. You don't have to burn their girl or cut her head off, just the guy. He's a goner. Yeah. You send the girl off to a convent and she's just there for the rest of her life. That's how you handle these things, you know? We're all screwed up in the modern world. So anyway, so they bang on this guy's door. They go in there, they make him come out, but when they do that, they figure out, oh, there's a girl in his room. And so he gets in massive trouble for having the girl in his room. And it turns out he didn't even do the horse. He's not the one who did it. He just got blamed for it. He really didn't do it, because 2 years later, when we graduated, you know, a couple guys, as soon as they walked across the stage, were like, "We did the horse. We were the ones," and they successfully kept it quiet. So anyway,
growing up,
it's a great story.
Growing up, sometimes mom or dad would get angry at us for misbehaving, not knowing who really caused the fracas to kick off. You know, like. And so what would they say? They'd say, like, you know, I don't care if maybe you're not guilty this time, but this is for what you did before.
Yeah, they would say that. Yeah, I remember mom doing that. Like, she'd get mad. I don't know if you did this, but you've gotten away with other things, so this is for that. You know,
that's what happened.
Yeah, that's
what goes around comes
Poor guy.
around.
I didn't like the guy at all that this happened to. But I felt really sorry for him because he really didn't do the horse. But they just assumed it because he was the practical jokester.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, your reputation preceded you, buddy, and you got busted.
Yeah.
Anyway, next.
Felt like I should include a Conor Rant at some point.
Oh.
Well, do we have enough time for that?
It's heavily edited.
How long is this?
Heavily edited.
Shortened from the Shackleton references.
Okay. That's why when young people today are looking at something mysterious and elevated and transcendent like the Latin Mass or the traditional devotions of the church, or the difficult doctrines to live by sometimes, the difficult sexual ethics that we have, the difficult demands of confession and penance, we see something worthy of our best effort as opposed to something dumbed down to the lowest common denominator in society. And so when Catholics look at the quote-unquote tradition, which is a catch-all phrase for everything I'm saying, we are inspired and we're willing to put our all into it. The left should not be surprised why this younger generation that has been raised, in America at least, in a life of luxury and constant self-indulgence, when we see the beauties of tradition calling us out of our sleepiness in society, calling us to be our absolute best selves by the grace of God, the statistics are so perfectly clear that this next generation has tremendous hope. We desire tradition so much. Why? Because it's so radically different from this messed up, weak, dumb, self-indulgent society that we've all been raised in.
I couldn't improve on that. That
Sorry.
was magnificent.
No, it was just
No. You hit it out of the park on that one. You really did.
Something about Bill Donahue, because he's a fighter.
Yeah.
Makes other people around him, you know,
Fired
up like you were.
It's a good point. Yeah. Bill Donahue's the man.
Yeah.
He could have said it better than me, too. I mean, he's just being nice. But
Hey, give yourself some credit. I don't think he's done a lot of interviews where he has had that reaction where he's just like, yep, you said it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know. Speaking about rants, you know.
That was just like 1 minute and 40 seconds of about 4 minutes where you had gone about the church and the Sisters of Mercy down the street. And you got on a roll there, and he's right, man.
You know, it's so obvious. Like, we need to do a book at TAN, an infographic book and I want to do infographic because I think just pictures make it easier to comprehend. The data, the statistics, the evidence, it's beyond reasonable doubt. If we put the church on trial and put them before 12 average people and had the standard of beyond reasonable doubt and said, is the modern crap that the church has been doing to ease the devotions of the church, to ease the liturgy, to ease the standards on every front, is it working or not?
Is it strengthening the church?
Is it strengthening or weakening the church? Beyond reasonable doubt. Guilty.
There's no.
We are making it worse. We have made society worse. We have made the church worse. We are hurting souls. Not every single one, but it's a slam dunk case against the modern church, against the post-conciliar church.
Will you bring the stats there? I mean, might as well do it. This episode's not out yet. John Clark on annulments.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of staggering.
Just to illustrate very quickly.
Like, this is just one. This is
one of a million.
This should be one page in
an infographic.
In the infographic book. But in 1969, in America there was 426,000 weddings. Now let's go down to in 2020, there was only 100 weddings.
100,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 100. What did I say?
100. You said 100.
Oh, I meant 100,000 weddings. So you went from 426,000 to 100,000 weddings.
These are in the Catholic Church, right?
Yes. Yes, I believe that's right. Yeah, Catholics in America.
It's like a 75 to 80% reduction in the number of weddings.
And we have more people, but people aren't getting married. They're just not getting married. Now look at this, 1968, 350 annulments, 350, not 350,000, 350 annulments were granted in the United States for Catholics, okay? In 89, 70,000 annulments, okay? Now, in 2014, so we're getting closer to this number up here, 2020. In 2014, there was only 23,000 annulments. Oh, great. The annulments went down from 70,000 to 23,000. That's because no one's gotten married.
Yeah.
There's not nearly as many annulments because there's no one's getting married. So the change in annulment policy is just one example of this. Yeah. The post-conciliar church has gotten so weak on morals, has dumbed down the average Catholic to where they basically say, you know what, the culture's bad and weak, and you had bad examples, and your dad was an alcoholic, so there's no way you understand what a commitment is. So therefore, you can get an annulment. And the amount, here's a stat, 14 dioceses, as of this guy who did the counting, John Clark. 14 dioceses have a 100% annulment rate. So if they apply, you get it. That's staggering. And he says the most conservative dioceses, meaning the ones that don't give, it's like 90%.
It is just Catholic divorce at this point.
It's just Catholic divorce.
So look, 350 annulments on 426,000 weddings, approximately.
Yeah, what's that percentage?
That is less than 0.1%. Less than 0.1%. And now 23,000 annulments on approximately 100,000 weddings.
100,000.
You're up to 23, 24, 25% now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. And that's just in 1 year.
It's staggering. And John Clark was right. He was and we haven't released that one yet as of right now. But his point is that like what was I going to say? Oh, like it's the issue. Like if we can't get marriage right, you're not going to get vocations right. You're not going to get catechesis right. You're not going to get anything right. And marriage, we have a serious problem with getting married and staying married. And it. I don't know how any knowledgeable person could say, 90% of applications for annulment should be granted. How do you say 100? How do you say 90? How do you say 80? I don't know what the number should be. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
The other side would shout mercy, right?
Yeah, they'd say mercy
and truth, mercy and charity.
Yeah, they would say that. And the thing is that's a misunderstanding of what it is. What happened. It's not the question isn't whether you should have to live with this person for the rest of your life. That's not the question is, did a sacrament happen back then or not? Yeah. Did you have enough competency to mean what you said, at least enough at least as much as like a 14-year-old kid can, because the church thinks a girl can get married at 14. It used to be 12. How much competency can a girl have at 12 or 14 years old? You know, how much competency can a guy have at 14 or 16 years old? So you can't say, well, the church can have that 14-year-old standard, but the 48-year-old woman can just file and get an annulment. Like,
she didn't know what she was doing.
Then no one knows what they're doing. Yeah. Now, is annulment real? Of course it's real. But I was very convinced that we're talking about an episode that hadn't happened yet.
Well,
but
it happened. It hasn't been released yet.
Hasn't been released yet. Yeah. It might come. Will it come out before this one?
I don't know.
No. Okay. So we do need to do an infographic. I forget, how did we get on this data thing? Oh, I was saying the data. And I go on rants. Here I am. I go on rants about how is it that the left or the middle doesn't see what's happening all around them. It's just so clear. It's so just look around. Look at the dioceses that are booming. Look at the monasteries that are booming. Look at the convents that are closing. Look at the Catholic colleges that have to start second campuses because they have so many applicants. And look at their enrollment and look at their endowment. They're thriving because they stand for the truth, and all these other ones close. Like, it's so painfully obvious. Look at the parishes. You got a whole bunch of big 15-passenger vans in your parish. You have a lot of vocations 18 years later. It's so obvious. And it drives me bonkers that it's like we go through life and have these discussions and we pretend that the evidence isn't there. Mm-hmm. We pretend that this painful evidence is not staring us in the face. And it's the same thing with some of the other topics we've talked about, like schmaxines and, the smartaceutical companies or whatever, how you want to say it. And Schmovid.
Whatever.
It's
consensus.
Drives me crazy. Why can't we say the obvious? And that's what sends me off.
As a society, we've all been trained, some of us bucket and some don't, but all been trained to trust the experts. And then you've got consensus, mainstream expertise, authorities telling you how to believe or what to think or what to believe about everything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. I want to hire an atheist who's a data analyst. Like, he's got absolutely no theology, dog in the fight, right? And have this pure atheist who probably hates the church.
Yeah.
But pay him to say, okay, you're not a Latin masser, you're not a Vatican II lib, you're just outside of that whole thing. I want you to analyze the data in the Catholic Church and tell us what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
No dog in the fight.
Now, I don't publish books by atheists, but I think that we need stuff like that. I mean, just painfully obvious to me. And that's when I get on my rants. All right, I'm done with my rant.
So I don't think it's that people don't know it or won't even say it. I think that you have had the exceptions on this show in the first 50 episodes who do have the courage to stand up and say it. Consequences be damned.
Yeah.
And there's so few people out there like that.
Yeah.
That then the majority,
I just see it like,
takes over.
If your kids are playing in a parking lot and there's cars all over the place, don't you need to say something?
Mm-hmm.
And when you just look at this, I mean, family it's in the parking lot like a little kid's it's getting run over. Aren't we going to do anything about it? Do people say anything about this? Dioceses, look, I've been all over Europe. All the old monasteries are just hotels now. They're just all closing. The faith is dead. You know how many vocations they had? You know how many ordinations they had in Ireland a few years ago? And the whole country of Ireland had one ordination. And we're going to have 10 in our diocese this year.
Yeah.
This year. We're doing something right. They're doing something wrong. And we can write out on a piece of paper what those things are. This is not complicated. Why don't we get this?
That's the title of the book. This is not complicated.
This is not complicated. I'm telling you, an atheist can look at this. I mean, I've never understood if a liberal bishop wants to raise money, just act more conservative. He'll raise more money. It's so obvious to me, but they don't think like that. They're ideologues or whatever it is that they think they can keep everybody happy. It's painful. And yet also all the while your religious order crumbles to the ground and you end up having to ask, what do we do with this monastery we have with like 88 dorm rooms in it? What are we going to do? Oh, it'll turn into an apartment building. Congratulations. And it was so predictable. And you have multiple case studies all around you. It didn't have to happen to you. There's a way to get these vocations. There's a way to attract true Catholic people and Catholic dollars. But no, you got to bury your head in the sand, pay no attention to stats like these and all the others that apply to the liturgy, that apply to the sacraments, that apply to the types of devotions, to the rule of life that you live if you're a religious community, or to the type of seminary formation you have if you're a diocesan bishop, or to the types of campus life or dorm policies you have if you're a Catholic school. No, we're not going to pay attention to that stuff. And it's painfully, drives me bonkers.
Well, we know with bishops, at least in this country, that peer pressure is actually at play there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, we're going full circle, right? We started with Bishop Strickland.
Yeah,
exactly. He said it's always been like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But saints stand up.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Sorry, you brought up rants and I went on a rant. Way to go,
Next.
So as we start to conclude, I'm going to end on a fun note.
Is this the last one?
What is this
This
one?
is the last one, though. I can do anything else you want to.
That's a good one to end
I don't
on.
have any in mind.
How about the yelling doctor? I think it's funny.
It wasn't funny. It was kind of like
Look, if they get a name, you know, right? It's not a great name.
no. I mean, she was into it
She
way
was
more
into
than
it.
I was. Like she was like, push, you know. And I'm like,
what's
I
going
got
on here?
it. Like we're good.
What
you
number
know.
was this for you?
That was number 4. That was baby number 4.
I was looking at her face knowing like she's thinking, stop yelling at me. And I'm trying not to laugh.
It wasn't for any particular reason. This
No.
was just her
It's
bedside manner.
It's just her. It's just the way she did things. Then she delivered the baby, fixed her hair in the mirror, and left. Never saw her again. She did. She's all about the encouragement beforehand, and like afterwards, she's like, "It's on you, lady. Like, I'm out of here." So.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. It's a true story. Ashley's great. I love it when she gets laughing and when she gets in a funny mood. She can be very funny. You have to be smart to be funny. You know, and she's really smart. And so when she gets witty, it lightens the house and it's really good.
She is the best guest you ever had.
She is the best guest I ever had.
That's what I heard.
Father Tad's number 2.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Well done, Kevin. Well done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, that's it, Nicholas?
Yeah, don't forget to mention future guests.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We always forget at the end, right?
So the guests coming up, we got Melissa Ohden. Amazing story, Connor. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just like say this, but then you're like, wait, what?
Right.
Yeah. Nobody thinks this term means what it does.
Right.
At first.
She was aborted.
Well, that's not the term. She was an abortion survivor, which most people assume means a woman who had an abortion and has now survived into the rest of her life. But no, she was aborted.
She was aborted.
And survived as an infant.
Yeah.
Excellent hand placement.
Yes.
See? I learned.
Well done.
Very Charlton Heston.
Yeah, but you might as well hand me the 10 Commandments, man.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'm ready.
Melissa knew how to do it.
Yeah, she knew how to do
Pro.
it.
Yeah. She's a pro.
Didn't know she'd met Rick Santorum. And then we've got Joseph. Of course.
What a good friend.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we just went deep into the life of J.R. Tolkien. That's my dirty office in the background, by the way. But he lives down the street. He's an hour and 20 minutes away. Done countless projects together. A true expert in all things Catholic literature.
Yeah.
Oh, the authority, by the way. If you want all of that, he sat in this room right here and basically just gave a master class after master class.
Another TAN podcast available on TAN Digital.
Yeah, called The Authority. Yeah, author of
The
Authority.
Author.
Yeah. And but it was good to not just talk about hobbits and Lord of the Rings. You know, I wanted to talk about Tolkien the man and kind of go deep into that because there's a lot in his background that kind of helped shape the story, and that was nice to kind of cover with him.
We're gonna have him back for sure.
I put that in
G.K. Chesterton.
One of the best meals, one of the best times I've had at meals. Like we went to dinner, just the two of us, right after this. Yeah, and that was after we filmed. Usually I have a meal with people before to kind of get to know them a little better. But just a long, quiet meal with Joseph, just the two of us. We haven't caught up in a long time. So I consider him a dear friend.
Yeah, we've been blessed to work with Joseph on, God, at least a dozen projects by now over the last dozen years or so.
Yeah, yeah.
Very great.
We have another one?
One more, I think, right?
Father Dan.
Oh, yeah, so Father Dan Reehil.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah, big name now.
Famous exorcist.
And he's got an angle on our show that he hasn't really been able to put out there as much yet on other folks' shows. If you've heard him before on other shows talking about his experience as an exorcist, you'll get some of that here with his episode with us, but you're going to get something a lot deeper with it.
Yeah, I think that's probably just a good preface to the whole thing. I also say, actually, I went back after the episode, went and filmed a little commercial before, because he judo flips me in the middle of it. We got together to talk about demons and exorcism and all the scary stuff that's kind of compelling. And he judo flips me in this episode, and it ends very, very differently than it started. So I'll just use that as a little teaser.
Yeah.
That'll
come out in January, right? Mid-January, Nicholas?
Yes.
I really like him, after, getting to know him. He's a deeply spiritual man. He was a contemplative. He was a contemplative quasi-hermit before becoming a diocesan priest. I did not know that.
Me neither.
But he's a man that kind of sees the hand of God kind of operating. Oh, there he is. Kind of in every segment of life, he kind of sees God, working a lot more than just an exorcist. You think of him as the exorcist, but he's a lot more than that. So, yeah, I liked it a lot.
Good to see more guests balancing out the low IQ.
Yes, we need lots of IQ.
Good to see.
To counteract the Gallagher blood.
Well, are we done? Is there anything else?
Nicholas is in charge.
That's good.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for all your work this year.
Cut.
I guess we'll go to another year. Hey, thanks, guys, for checking out the Conor Gallagher Show. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, or comment, or whatever you got to do to support it. And I appreciate that very much.